Good morning, all. I hope you've had a good morning thus far. Happy Monday, June 1st. Already into June. Whew. The roads. There was 2 accidents on my way to take my son to work. Golly, one of them was crazy. I don't even know how it came to be. It's crazy. Lots of accidents. There was a drowning in my local area. There's been all kinds of stuff. Gulf Coast Jam recently transpired over the weekend out in Panama City. Chris Stapleton and Posty, I've seen both of those live. I've seen both of them in concert. Good shows, for sure. I love me some Chris Stapleton and Posty. Old school Posty. I like some of his new stuff. I'm more of an old school. Okay, that said, I think it's crazy, me personally, that we now live in a world where if people support or advocate or stand with and encourage an individual, such as myself, such as Candace, such as Tucker, such as Charlie, such as whoever on the other side of the fence, I guess, they get slapped with a lot of hate and a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of systematic abuse. And if you don't know what that means, allow me to share. Because I know a little something about it. I know a lot about it. Our system is built on checks and balances, essentially. Whether that be in the banking system, whether that be in the medical system, whether that be in the work environment, whether that be in the judicial system, whether that be the law enforcement, whether that be the military. It's all checks and balances, generally, right? However, when you have checks and balances being ran and misused by corrupt people, things can get a little hairy. Right? For example, money being withheld, money not ever being deposited, all right? When you go to see a doctor, the diagnosis is nowhere in the sphere of what's actually the problem. The medication you're prescribing doesn't do good for you. It actually does the opposite for you. These are all things that I have walked through. These are all things that I can give receipts to. Okay? So I'm well prevalent on how all these things operate. All right? And that's just a little sliver of it. That's just the icing on the cake. In the last few years, and the amount that I've been through in reference to things of this nature. And that's why I was kind of forced in a way of going into isolation, going into hermit mode, trying to figure out what the heck I was actually living through. Seeing as nobody could come and have a true, authentic conversation with me, explain to me what's going on. And so going through everything in the last few years, it's really broadened my horizon, and just in reference to the misuse of the system, the misuse of the power, and how certain people can throw their weight around just because of who they are, just because of who they are connected to, just how much money they have. And it's just one of those things. You can't sit here and tell me I'm wrong because I know I'm right. We all know it's true. And you're on whatever side of the fence you choose to be on. That is your free will. However, the one thing that bothers me tremendously, because I don't know no different. You see, one thing I've recently woken up to is this is something that's been going on my entire life. I've just been asleep to it up until the last few years. All right. Up until the last few years, I thought it was normal. Every time I got 2 steps ahead, it was 10 back. There was always issues surrounding me, whether that's in my work, whether that was in my banking system, whether that was with my bank, whether that was with my son, whether that was with soccer, whether that was with him being in high school and having to advocating, him being expelled, all the doctors that I was seeing, the counselors that I was seeing, the medication that I was on. I mean, we could go down this list. And what did I turn to? I turned to addictions, absolutely, to numb myself, because I had no idea what the heck was going on, right? When people drain your energy, there's just only so much you can take. I mean, the whole purpose of people draining your energy is for them to drain you, and well, ultimately, you take poor roads. You take poor roads, get in trouble with the law, allow the addictions to take you to the ground, all kinds of stuff. Make all the narrations in the back seem like they're true because these are really genuine people. But it takes an entire team to attack certain people. So are you really genuine people? Especially when you do it in the dark. And so it's something that I'm accustomed to, you know, and it doesn't hold me back. It frustrates me. Don't get me wrong. It frustrates me to no end when you're just trying to be an upstanding citizen, live by the law, respect the law enforcement, respect military, even respect politicians in different ways, even though they do not show you that. You still rise above it, you know, so that part of it is frustrating to me. However, the one thing that is most frustrating to me is when I see people that I care about that have given me lent me a hand, helped me, given me a fighting chance, trust me in the words that I say out of my mouth. Like hearing somebody say, I trust you, you know, in a world surrounded by people that you trust, but they're lying to you. It's a really unique scenario to be in, you know. And so when I find myself in these scenarios, in these situations, and I see these people that I care about and that have helped me, just have the system work against them in different ways because they are standing with me in different ways and just giving me a fighting chance. That is what frustrates me. That is what gets me so upset, you know, that we have now turned into a place of freedom, a country that's supposed to be living in freedom. And if you choose to encourage somebody, support somebody, love somebody, give somebody a fighting chance, then you're somehow part of the problem too. And then you're on the crappy end of the stick where you can then have investigations opened about you and your company and this and this and this, right? Or you can have weird things happen with your bank and it be a coincidence, this and this and this, right? You can start having the industry that you've worked in for years start working against you, right? And this is the world we live in now. And that's what's so frustrating to me, because it's like, how do we expect the generations to come, meaning my child, your children, to walk into this world, into a better system, when we are literally running the system on these types of measures? And just general public, there is a presence, obviously, of all the way up the ladder and things of that nature, obviously. However, we're talking about just general public in some ways. And it's so crazy to me, because it's like, okay, hindsight 2020. If whatever problem that has been created in this whole charade, right, based off, I don't even know. So I was talking to my girlfriend about, she's like, why? Why would they do this? I'm like, I don't freaking know. Excuse me, I'm drawing blanks. What I do know is what led me up to resigning, the 5-hour conversation I did have, and then not a moment or not a page or a day has been turned since that my life has been completely thrown upside down and then twirled around, and pirouettes happen daily. That's what I do know. You know, outside of that, I have no idea. I have none. But what I do know is I see people that stand with me, support me, and encourage me in the ways that they can, also take the heat. And I feel bad. You know, I feel very bad. I've always been somebody that doesn't want to be a problem to other people. I wear my burdens inside. I don't wear it outside. I walk through the battles that I walk through internally with God. And that's something that I've done my whole life. I have a strong spiritual relationship now with God, but for the most part, I've never been somebody that just wants to put all my problems out there, But that really bothers me, and I appreciate everybody that is standing with me.